Hello, everybody. From the studio, we're plugging right along with Chapter 5, the first draft of Wolves and Doves. We'll get right to it. She was a small woman from the desert, with sharp, wide blue eyes and brown, wrinkled skin that looked like parchment paper. She had pancreatic cancer, which is known to be one of the more painful forms of cancer, but she was experiencing no pain. She was nervous for the time, if and when the pain would arrive, but saw this current time as precious as she could still function and be able to share with those around her, the family, and this nurse who was sitting on her couch. She was excited to meet and said that the idea of sharing her perspective so that it could be transformed into a song to be shared as part of her legacy was absolutely magical, and she was ready to talk. The time was now. We sat there, settled into the couch, which was quite soft and comfortable, and prepared for a long, unrushed conversation about her perspectives on life. During this time, there were some pretty forefront issues going on in the world, and she thought it sad, but interesting to be leaving at such a time. She found that so much of the trouble that was going on was due to being so deeply rooted in fear. She said, "I've learned that everything comes down to one of two things: love and fear. Both can't be in the same place at once, but they both grow by what you give it. It seems like fear has been getting fed much more attention than love lately." She found it tragic that in times of distress, that so many seem to be solely concerned with their own comfort and gain, where there should be more generosity and balance in our interactions, even in, or especially in, times of hardship. She said that when she was gone, she hopes that she can look down and see progress after these times have had some time to teach us. She had faith that at the end of the day, love would conquer all, but she made a point to say that it's up to us to choose love over fear. There was an earnestness in her observant blue eyes, with over 90 years of vision, looking out at the trouble painted across her sources of information. Her world was somewhat smaller than it had ever been. Staying home with her daughter and grandkids, she found it difficult not to worry about what was to come, not only for her and her mortality, but for those she loved after she departed. With her wisdom and experience, she said, "Though I may be faced with fear, I know that love will win. It comes down to a present choice, and I choose love." She said that these opposing sides that were so often coerced into choosing didn't really matter to her anymore, and that the only side worth choosing was love over fear. When seen as a compass, it simplified things, distilling life circumstances down to its essence. As we spoke, I kept picturing two animals, a wolf and a dove. The wolf representing gain at the cost of another, violence and fear. The dove symbolizing grace, compassionate understanding, and love. I tried to comprehend how attention and energy can be turned not only to only one at any given time. It really makes sense when you think about it. I heard the tone of concern in her voice as she yearned for this world to see this choice. I looked at her, this little woman faced with her death, but so hopeful for the world as a whole. She said, "Maybe my example can inspire someone to make that choice. I'm facing death, and I could easily fall into fear, but I choose love. In everyday life, maybe people can stop and think about this choice and be more aware of how choosing one leads to the weakening of the other. The more love we give, the less fear will be present, and it's the same the other way around. We just have to choose which one we feed." We'll be left alone, safe inside what we call home, stacking back up bags of rice and beans. I think they're picking bones, numbers that those vultures throw. It's hard to pick statistics to believe. over in D.C., burning down our memories and setting fire to folks that set them free. How long will it be till we see good news on those screens? It looks a long way in, if you ask me. Seems this world just ain't the world it used to be, where we're taking on water from the sins of our fathers and running from a new disease. Wolves and doves survive on what they get to eat, so we just have to choose which ones we feed. We're all in this game, little links in a big old chain. Everything you do gets back to me. All these beasts will stay as long as we let them drink all day. What's it gonna take to keep the peace? It's up to you, and it's up to me. Seems this world just ain't the world it used to be, where we're taking on water from the sins of our fathers and running from a new disease. Wolves and doves survive on what they get to eat, so we just have to choose which ones we feed. Seems this world just ain't the world it used to be, where we're taking on water from the sins of our fathers and running from a new disease. Oh, wolves and doves survive on what they get to eat, so we just have to choose which ones we feed. We just have to choose which ones we feed. We just have to choose